Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe now to get the latest ancient history news and independent research from around the world. Not many people know about them, but there are a number of important ancient sculptures found in Guatemala that often fall under the radar, but their importance is something that should be far more widely known. Back in 1975, at the site of Ipaza, a basalt sculpture of what is often described as a turtle's head was discovered, and it was found to have a strong magnetic field with a north pole in its snout and the south pole in the back of its head. But that is just the tip of the iceberg, because additional magnetic sculptures have also been discovered in Guatemala, believed to date back between 1400 and 400 BC, which coincide with the dates of the Olmec culture. Saying that, some researchers believe that these are in fact pre-Olmec, dating back to the early Preclassic period of around 2000 BC. Dating arises from analysing the stratigraphic layers of soil on which their bases sit, but of course if the statues were moved and replaced by later cultures, it means that they could go back even further. Known crudely as FatBoys, the sculptures are carved in such a precise way that the magnetic properties of each specific rock was taken into account. The figures, some being more than 2 meters tall and weighing more than 10,000 kilograms, are either giant heads or complete bodies. If the sculpture is of an entire body, the magnetic poles are on either side of the navel. When there is only a head carved, the magnetic poles are centered on the right temple, above and below the right ear. Although not in every case, most of the sculptures have a U-shaped magnetic field, and the north and south poles are often next to each other. By carving the right ear of the statues between the north and south magnetic poles of the rock did remind me of the famous ear stele found in Egypt at the Sphinx temple of Amenhotep II, as discussed in a previous video. Experts believe that these ears were carved so that the gods could hear those that were worshipping, but what if they were actually saying something else? I don't know, but it's certainly something to think about. Back to Guatemala, and a statue of a jaguar was also found with its magnetic poles located in each upraised paw. On a tablet of stone, which portrays 2 men seated, there are 4 magnetic poles, with 1 north pole between each of the men's folded arms, and 1 south pole below each man in the space below the bench they are seated on. No plugs of magnetic material have been inserted into the boulder, yet these specific areas have a strong enough magnetic field to move a compass needle. Today, 12 of these statues are found in La Democracia in Guatemala, one of which is located next to the entrance of the museum. As well as the turtle head, the tablet and the jaguar mentioned, there are 5 with full human bodies, 6 of just human heads, and 1 in the shape of a large bowl. 4 of the 5 human bodies are magnetic, as are 4 of the 6 heads. These are the oldest known magnetic human-created artifacts in the world, and due to the precise positioning of the magnetic poles, it shows that the civilization that created them recognised magnetism, even though we are told they did not have any iron. Why did their creators associate the magnetic part of the rock with specific parts of the body? What was their significance? And how did they know about magnetism when it is often detected with a sensitized piece of iron? We are told that Mesoamerican cultures did not have iron until the 9th or 10th centuries AD, and therefore these finds indicate a lost ancient more advanced civilization in the Americas, something that Graham Hancock highlights significantly in his new book. It is also something that the establishment will have to accept as the volume of evidence continues to grow. Greek sources credit Thales of Miletus with first detecting magnetism around 600 BC, but this clearly is not the case with regards to the full human story. The true history of human development is far from understood and far from complete. Experts explain the magnetism by saying the ancients noticed the attraction or adhesion of fine dust particles to the surface of the block of stone as they were cutting or polishing it. But logic says that these were only cut because of their magnetic properties, so they must have known before work commenced. The orthodox way of interpreting finds like these doesn't work, and we have to start accepting the fact that the timeline of human development is wrong. Some speculate that the overweight nature of the statues may well have been an ancient symbol of beauty or affluence, but of course this is mere conjecture. The faces have a fairly similar genetic appearance, and on the full-bodied statues, we see that the arms and hands come together at the navel, something we see in artifacts by different ancient civilizations across the world. The hands coming together at the navel is seen at Göbekli Tepe, Easter Island in France and Tiwanaku, and in my previous video I highlighted the pyramid aprons of the pharaohs, and as noted in the comments by a number of subscribers, the apex often ended at the navel. The difference with these ancient South American relics is that the navel is also where the magnetic pole was positioned, and this is certainly no coincidence. The Guatemalan statues shows that the people that made them associated the right temple and the navel with magnetism, and we know that the navel was also the focal point for statues found across the world in a number of different time periods, created by a number of different civilizations. I don't think that this is because of fertility reasons, as the statues are not female. In fact, no reproductive parts are clear on the Guatemalan statues at all. The Guatemalan magnetic statues remain a mystery, but the reason this video has come about is because recently they have made the headlines again on scientific news sites. The reports say that scientists believe lightning strikes probably magnetised the boulders. They state that artisans may have held naturally magnetised mineral chunks near iron-rich basalt boulders to find areas in the rock where magnetic forces pushed back, but again, this is just conjecture. The experts say that the pot-bellied figures represented the dead, the ancestors of the high-ranking families, but I don't know how this is deduced, and there seems to be very little evidence to back up such claims. The fact is, we don't know who created them, how old they are, what the magnetism meant, how the creators located the magnetic poles, what the statues are portraying, and why. They are also more evidence for a lost ancient civilization, and the positioning of the hands towards the navel link this lost culture to Easter Island, Europe, North Africa, and Göbekli Tepe. As Brian Forster has pointed out in a number of videos on his excellent channel, the H-blocks of Pumapunku also display magnetism in the central section, which can only mean the blocks were carefully manufactured, just as the Guatemalan statues also were. Archaeologists are uncovering new finds every single day, and our knowledge continues to grow. But we need to be flexible enough in our interpretations when new discoveries come to light. As Graham Hancock says, we are a species with amnesia, but hopefully by working together, we can connect the dots and learn about the true origins of humanity. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Ancient Architects. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and please leave a comment below. Thank you very much.